Who is Ital Iman? Ital Iman is an accomplished author, independent journalist, and folk artist known for his extensive contributions to literature and media. He has published numerous works that explore themes related to culture, history, and spirituality, particularly focusing on the experiences of marginalized communities. His writings often reflect his deep engagement with Rastafari principles and permaculture practices. Background: Ital Iman is recognized as a significant figure in the realm of independent journalism. He gained notable attention for being the only African-American journalist to cover the Beltway sniper trial in 2003, with his work being featured in the Washington Post's lifestyle section. His unique perspective as a journalist is complemented by his artistic endeavors. He has produced over 500 videos on YouTube since 2007, showcasing various aspects of culture and spirituality. Literary contributions. As an author, Ital Iman has written over 23 books that delve into complex subjects such as identity, history, and the human experience. His works include titles like Jump Jim Crow, which presents oral histories from an esoteric brotherhood of Black indigenous people in North America. This book reflects his commitment to preserving and sharing narratives that are often overlooked or marginalized. Additionally, he is known for his work in the field of ethnomusicology, which explores themes of activism and philosophy, presenting the African American oral tradition as it relates to the message in the music of Stevie Wonder, Bob Marley, Vaughn Benjamin, and 5 other major poet-musicians recorded in his magnum opus, The Holy Book of Wonder. Ital Iman's work extends beyond writing. He is also a passionate advocate for social justice and environmental sustainability. As a permaculturist, he emphasizes sustainable living practices that align with Rastafari beliefs. His activism is evident through his involvement in various projects aimed at empowering communities and promoting awareness about cultural heritage. In summary, Ital Iman stands out as a multifaceted author whose work encompasses journalism, literature, art, and activism. His dedication to exploring underrepresented narratives makes him a vital voice in contemporary discussions about culture and identity.
Greetings, beloved. What we're going to do right here is go back, way back into time. We're going to ride the way back machine. We're going to do a little time travel. I want you to bear with me. Come with me. Let us take a journey on the way back machine. Let us time travel in cyberspace to a time around the time before social media had become as we know it today. Let's stop at the time of the death of Pope John Paul II around 2005. Around the time Ronald Wilson Reagan died. The Pope was known as a beast, according to the Rastafari. So was Ronald Wilson Reagan, and as it was recorded in the book called the Holy Scriptures, that the beast was wounded, but yet he did not die. What is this Wayback Machine I speak of? The Wayback Machine is a digital archive of the World Wide Web, and the reason that I bring it up because in those years, around 2002, there was a website called the Underground News Network, founded by myself and a woman that was working with the United States government. She was recruited by Ital Iman, your brother. She was working at Langley, Virginia, and if you know what Langley is, you understand what I am insinuating without even saying it, but to say that I was in cyberspace before many of you thought about cyberspace. So this information that we bring to you has been there. We're going to cover a few topics today, but we're going to talk about first the Wayback Machine. The Wayback Machine is a digital archive of the first World Wide Web, at the inception of the World Wide Web, allowing users to view past versions of websites that may no longer be available on the live web. It's part of the Internet archives and allows users to explore how websites have evolved over time. Here's a more detailed explanation. Archiving the web. The Wayback Machine automatically crawls and captures snapshots of websites at various points in time. These snapshots are stored with timestamps and made accessible to users. Users can enter a URL into the Wayback Machine and view how the website looked at different points in the past, even if the current website has been updated and or removed. The Wayback Machine is a valuable tool for researchers, historians, journalists, and anyone interested in the evolution of website sites and online content. It can be used to track changes to websites, analyze web design trends, and retrieve information from websites that no longer exist. While the Wayback Machine captures a vast amount of web content, it doesn't archive everything. Some content, like pages behind a login or those requiring form submissions, may not be accessible. Additionally, the web, i.e. the archive, is not updated in real time, so there may be some delay in capturing changes. So, the website Underground News Network, which was considered an alternative news site alongside of CBS, NBC, and major news entities, has been captured, and we hooked it onto one of our current blogs. So hopefully I can remember to put it in the description box that you see where we're coming from. Everything that we say comes from the Holy Book of Wonder, which was the essence of the Underground News Network. So we're saying this, as this particular subject, we can say it's a little bragging. I'm currently 68 years of age, and we're talking about people that come on bragging about what they eat, how they live, how they look so good at 70, and some people say they're vegetarians and been vegetarian, but I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. I'm currently 68 years of age. I did my first detox in the year 1980. I was 23 years of age. I came from around 250 pounds to 140 pounds in my detox. And back then, people were really ignorant. They thought I was sick, and they encouraged me to eat meat, especially. I was a vegan at the age of 23. 23 is a resonant number of Sirius. I was in tune with the force from the beginning. Now it's my time to, what some of you may call bragging, but there are many people upon the web that's talking about what they eat. They eat one meal a day, some people say, but I want you to listen to what I have to say. I want to reveal something different to you, something you have never heard before. And many of you wonder why Dick Gregory in his old age became so grouchy, why a lot of elders be forceful in talking about themselves and what they have accomplished. That because young people is always trying to get on them about something. Like I have a son that he always say, make some money. You making any money? But this is for him too, but in a loving way. And I just want y'all to know who you're listening to, who you've been listening to, what motivates me, and why I do what I do. All right. Note, we're looking at 52 weeks. Generally, there are 52 weeks and one additional day in a regular year. In a leap year, which occurs almost every 4 years, there are 52 weeks and 2 additional days. Note that from one birth date to another, there are 7 sets of 52 days. I eat, Ital, Iman, I eat 1 meal each week, meaning I eat 1 meal every 7 days, meaning I eat only 52 days out of a year. Not 1 meal a day, but 1 meal every 7 days. Now, this is what the mystics from the Hindi culture, etc., call a siddhi, a spiritual power. This is one who have come to have great control over his body and mind. What do I eat when I do eat? I follow the original diet or foods of the gods who brought these foods to earth over 445,000 years ago. The Dogon called them Nomo, better known as Anunnaki or Olmec, ones who terraformed the earth, built the pyramids. I want you to listen that you learn. This is the wisdom of the Dogon, which I live daily. The Dogon says, out of the Korana emerged the 8 ancestors of humanity. Out of the Korana, and the Korana is a certain type spacecraft built a certain ways. The Dogon say out of the Korana emerged the 8 ancestors of humanity. They came forth with 8 grains: millet, black rice, chickpeas, sorghum, teef, the Ethiopian grain, teef or tef, wheat kamut, maize, i.e. corn, pigeon peas equals gungo peas, and their mission is to cultivate the land and grow the celestial grain. So these celestial grains are the grains that Ital, Iman eat. Listen carefully that you learn. And the Dogon says, out of the Korana emerged the 8 ancestors of humanity. They came forth with the 8 grains: millet, black rice, chickpeas, sorghum, teef or tef, wheat kamut, maize, corn, pigeon peas, gungo peas. Their mission was to cultivate the land and grow the celestial grains so everyone upon the earth could live in abundance. They were also supposed to reproduce and spread throughout the world, bringing the spiritual technologies contained within the Korana with them. The 8 ancestors and their offsprings were charged with conducting important ceremonies such as the Sigi ceremony. The Sigi is performed every 60 years when the planet Jupiter and Saturn are aligned. The Sigi reestablishes the bond of the fish people who sacrifice their divine self to their homeland across the waters, i.e. Sirius. The ultimate purpose, the Dogon say, they have is to maintain the extraterrestrial connection by establishing sacred sites and celestial granaries throughout the world in an effort to prepare Earth for Izube Mene, the day of the earth and the fish, which is coming up in the year 2027. This is the teachings of the Rastafari Mystery School founded by your brother Ital Iman. And this is the time when the earth and Sirius aligns. The great conjunction, Tabatolo, the reuniting of the twin placentas, it's going to occur. At this time, the sacred purifying energy force described as a stream of electric light from Sirius, known as the organizer, i.e. the reorganizer of the world, will cascade down upon the earth and bring about the new order in the world for the sons and daughters of the Nomo, whom or which we are, who are harmoniously in tune with the heavens and the earth. This energy will nourish their mind, body, and spirit. However, the stream will wash away the corrupt order of Ogo. Those who are not in tune with this divine order established by Amma, this cosmic radiation will be like brimstone and fire falling from the sky, burning up the wicked and unrighteous. There will be nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. And we have heard about the heavy metals that's in the bodies of certain people who did certain things against the will of the gods. They will burn. This is that time, 2027. It is at this time the Rastafari Mystery School implements what we have been calling for years, the sacred rite of Osiris, known as the what? Master Blaster Jamming. You are now in tune on the one, the force itself at this time. We call it the Holy Master Blaster Jamming. So what does Ital Iman eat? He eats the 8 grains that were sent to earth by the Nomo, basically millet. Millet, has super healing powers. Millets are considered a nutritional powerhouse with various potential health benefits, including properties that may support healing processes within the body. Here's how millet contribute to healing and your overall health. Antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties it has. Millets are rich in phenolic compounds like ferulic acid and catechins, which act as antioxidants to protect the body from harmful oxidative stress and reduce inflammation. Studies in mice have linked ferulic acid to rapid wound healing, skin protection, and anti-inflammatory properties. Darker colored millet varieties such as finger, proso, and foxtail millet tend to have higher antioxidant content compared to the white or yellow varieties. Digestive health and gut microbiome support. Millets are rich in dietary fiber. That's the main thing. Millets are rich in dietary fiber, including soluble and insoluble fractions, which promote healthy digestion, regulates bowel movement, and acts as prebiotics to nourish beneficial gut bacteria. You are now in tune. This, in turn, supports a healthy gut microbiome, which is crucial for overall health. And many of you have heard this, and plays a role in reducing inflammation throughout the body. Butyric acid, produced by the fermentation of millet fiber in the intestine, has been shown to reduce colonic inflammation and promote mucosal healing. Studies have shown that millet consumption can increase the abundance of beneficial bacteria like bifidobacteria, and lactobacilli in the gut. Improve blood sugar control. Millet have a low glycemic index and contain fiber and non-starchy polysaccharides, which help prevent rapid spikes in blood sugar levels after meals. This makes millets a good choice for individuals with diabetes or those looking to manage their blood sugar levels. Studies have shown that millet consumption can help lower fasting and post-meal blood sugar levels and increase insulin resistance, reduce risk in cardiovascular diseases. Millet contains soluble fiber, which can help lower cholesterol levels by trapping fat in the gut. They are also a good source of magnesium, which can help regulate blood pressure and potentially prevent heart failure. Millet protein may also increase adiponectin levels, a hormone which with anti-inflammatory effects that supports heart health, potentially anti-cancer effects. The antioxidant properties of millet are believed to play a role in preventing the development of cancer by protecting cells from damage. You are now in tune. Studies have shown that millet extracts can inhibit the growth of certain cancer cells and have anti-prolific effects, heals wounds, etc. Millet is a miracle food, and this is the food that I eat. And there are about 14 different types of millet, and I eat the positive grains, 8 to 12% fiber, the positive grains, and those positive grains are foxtail millet, and this is also my healing system. Since many of you are wondering, I know foxtail millet, and the Hindus call millet rice, and it's better than the rice that we eat, the starchy substance that we eat. The positive grains of millet or foxtail millet, it heals the nervous system, psychological disorders, arthritis, Parkinson's, and epilepsy. This is foxtail millet, so if you want to fight, prevent, or heal the nervous system, psychological disorders, arthritis, Parkinson's disease, and epilepsy, you eat foxtail millet. So there's a millet called dark millet called kodo millet. This is for blood impurities, anemia, low blood count, weak immunity, diabetes, constipation, and insomnia. You partake of kodo millet. There is barnyard millet. It's good for the liver, kidneys, excess bad cholesterol, endocrine glands. This is barnyard. There is a millet called little millet. Heals the uterus, male and female infertility. Little millet. Brown top millet heals the digestive system, arthritis, hypertension, thyroidism, eye problems, and obesity. Those are the 5 positive millets, and you can research the negative millets, which will not harm you, but they don't prevent any diseases. It's possible that they don't heal really that many diseases. It causes diseases, and you can research those millets. So a combination of millet with vegetables and fruit. Sometimes I eat millet with like yogurt, blueberries, dates, different fruit. But millet should be a part of your life. It is very healing. So that's my diet or my way of life. It has become a religion to me. Like I said, I eat every 7 days. So when Tuesday morning comes, sometimes I eat at midnight. But when Tuesday morning comes, it's like a prayer ritual to me. Everything is laid out. I've taken my time, meditated on the cooking, and my cooking is very healing. It's a science of the Anunnaki, science of the gods. So now you know your brother a little better. Ital, Iman, poet, independent journalist, Rastafari mystic. You are now in tune. On the one, the force itself at this time. We call it the Holy Master Blaster Jamming. Yes, I, Rastafari lives. Our time.
Greetings and salutations of peace. You are now in tune on the one, the force itself. At this time, we call it the Holy Master Blaster Jamming. We will take our discourse today from the Holy Bible, concentrating on Psalms 23. The number 23 is a very significant number. It is the resonant number of Sirius, the enigmatic Egyptian dog star. In retrospect, and in as far as I can recall, I can remember seeing my mother, father, grandmother, and the brethren and sistering of the church of that era riding with the 23rd Psalm on the dashboards of their cars. So instinctively we know that 23rd Psalm is very powerful, and any time that we would get into trouble or come upon hard times, we would start automatically reciting the 23rd Psalm, not knowing its esoteric meaning. I am here today delivering this message to the elders of Rastafari because there are many of them who do not know the esoteric meaning of the 23rd Psalm. It is apropos at this time that this message be delivered to the Rastafari, for in essence a Rastafari is an enlightened being. So the 23rd Psalm pertains expressly to him. Expressly to him. It was designed by King David, the esoteric wisdom of Solomon. This psalm is for regeneration, and it is very significant. Sirius, the Anunnaki, the ones that did the first genetic experiments, and you will understand why the 23rd Psalm deal with Anunnaki and regenerations. The caduceus is very symbolic in this. The 7 chakras plays a role in this. This is a code, the 23rd Psalm, for regeneration. So we go to our book of divination, a book that the Anunnaki designed for us, and we will talk briefly on that before we get into totally the esoterica of the 23rd Psalm. We will go to Surah, or chapter 23, equals, it's called the believers. If we would go to verse 23 of chapter 23, verse 23 reads, "And certainly we sent Noah to his people, so he said, O my people, serve Allah. You have no God other than him. Will you not guard against evil?" So this is Surah 23, and we went to verse 23, and it talks about Noah. So remember that. So if we cipher this surah, the chapter 23, 3 plus 2, and 6 sections, and 118 verses. If we cipher it, 8 plus 1 plus 1 plus 6 plus 3 plus 2, we will come up with the number 21. And if we go to our left to Surah 21, we will see that Surah 21 is the prophets. So the prophets are the believers, and the prophets are the ones who dictated the script. So if we cipher Surah 21, it will take us to Abraham, which is a prophet, and Abraham is the essence of the prophets. In the Sufi tradition, Abraham is the soul of prophecy. Abraham is the rose. You are now in tune on the one, the force itself at this time. We call it the Holy Master Blaster Jamin. The Rastafari, as I have stated, is an enlightened being. A Rastafari is a self-governed being. A Rastafari is one who had woke up. He controls his self. Now we will get into the 23rd Psalm. And I say unto you, man's strength derives from his life force. What is man's life force, you may ask? It is the water of life, his life force, the sperm. It is what he is made of, his creative force. It is it that builds his immune system when it is said, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. Listen most attentively, Ayah. It does not mean what many think it means. The word Lord is a code word or symbol for law. It that dwells within you as you, it that dwells within me as me. From the tiniest atom to the largest star is it that we call God. It that's with it, that the energy that's within the seed and causes the tree to grow. That is the law. The word Lord is a code word or symbol for law. What is the law, you may ask? The law is the life force. It is a universal intelligence. When a man is young, he is full of life force. He is strong and full of vim and vigor. But absence of wisdom, he seeks to have sex each chance he gets, and burns his candle from both ends, which is easily put out by strong winds. Each time after sex he is tired. He does not realize he is tired and has to rest and eat to rebuild his life force. At the point of orgasm, 144,000 nerve branches running from the spinal cord are shattered, and his soul, like a candle flame in the wind, flickers. It is for man to meditate to restore his soul. This is why it is written, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. The law is wisdom. It is the father and guide of the young man on his journey of life. You are now in tune on the one, the force itself at this time. We call the Holy Master Blaster Jamin. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. The still waters is when the young man has become celibate. The waters of life does not flow. The celibate rest in the green pastures, so to speak, by the still waters. This is a perfect place for grazing sheep. Here life is abundant. The sheep are well sustained, etc. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the path of righteousness for his name's sake. When one is celibate, his body gets rest. He builds his immune system. One's body has time to heal. The nerves are renewed. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. As the rod of the shepherd beats down the path, that he may see the snakes and snare before him, The rod and the staff represents the spinal cord of man. When man sits still, focused on the third eye, automatically the subtle energy, the life force, ascends up the spinal cord, traveling up, passing through the seven chakras. The 7 golden candlesticks are lit in the 7 churches of Asia along the Nile River. Through the 7 chakras of power points, regenerating and energizing them, giving more energy to the body. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. As the subtle force reaches the third eye center, then enters the brain area, pineal gland, it is at that point melanin released into the brain, restoring the pineal gland, the seat of the soul. This is the true baptizing and anointing of the head of the priest spoken of in the Bible. It is said at this point man can pick up snakes and be bitten and does not fear death because his body is strong, his immune system is very strong. Sickness takes flight. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. At this stage of regeneration, man lives in the mind of God, protected by wisdom. This is when man fears God. He now obeys the laws of nature. And by this practice of self-preservation, which is the first law of nature, you are now in tune on the one, the force itself. At this time, we call it the Holy Master Blaster Jamming. And as we have said, God dwells within me as me. He dwells within you as you. From the tiniest atom to the largest star is He. So, the Bible is allegory, metaphor, and simile. Every noun has a deeper level of meaning. For instance, Moses means he who was drawn out of the water. It cannot be taken literally. Just the word Moses, the noun, every noun has a deeper level of meaning. The word Moses means he who was drawn out of the water. So it was written, it was depicted, his mother placed him on the water, and the Egyptian woman drew him out of the water. So we see the allegory is to transfer or transmit a wisdom, a certain breaking down certain laws and revealing the codes of this great work. And Moses threw down his rod. Notice that the spinal cord, when it is said thy rod and thy staff, it represents the spinal cord. And if we touch the back of our head, we feel the knot, the tip of the staff, the medulla oblongata. And we note that running from your spinal cord, it says 144,000 will be redeemed from the earth. And 144,000 just breaks down to the number 9, so it might not be that many. But esoterically, the 144,000 being redeemed from the earth is the earth means the lower level, so 144,000 redeemed, raising your consciousness. There are 144,000 nerve branches running from the spinal cord. And at the moment of orgasm, the pineal glands is like a flame in the wind. It begins to flicker, and those 144,000 nerve branches are shattered, and you become nervous. Like we are in such a state of ignorance, we don't realize that after the act of sex, we become tired and we become hungry. So in essence, we are replenishing our energies that we are lost. Most brothers fall asleep, when you get asleep. Even when I was younger, in my 30s, I used to fall asleep and getting up in the middle of the night. My sons and daughters would come out, and me and their mother is in there cooking an egg or something. So that's what was happening. So once you raise your consciousness high, this will, you will understand it, you will feel it, but the ignorant don't feel it. This is what causes gray hair. You lose your zinc. You know, you use your zinc, but if you hadn't reached a Christ-like level and have been died on the cross, this is what it means when Jesus died on the cross. He died to his lower self. And it is possible, and I have experienced this, it's when you spend all of your life force, you become totally weak. I mean, I was at the point where I couldn't place one foot before the other, but through meditation, sitting still, closing my eyes, not speaking, fasting from speaking, you regenerate yourself. So I came back. So I learned the fear of God, and the fear of God means simply the fear of, you respect the laws. You know, no excessive sexual relations. A lot of brothers start off real young masturbating, and brothers my age, they understand that because women wasn't readily available, so it was something that we practiced when we were children coming up. And that's why men die quick. That's why they become old. That's why their skin is not as vibrant as you know, when they get in their 50s or 60s, they start wrinkling up, you know, and then they look like they're like 1,000 years old. But if you become a vegetarian, eat the right food, even now amongst the Monsanto travesties, it's possible to renew your life force and stay young forever. The ancient people understood the laws of life, and they lived over 120 years old. So this is the quest of the Rasta man, is to fear the Lord. It don't mean there's a man up in the sky somewhere and you're afraid of him. The masters, the sages, the Rastas, we control or manipulate the atoms. We manipulate the finer particles of the air. We breathe in and we breathe out. The Hindus call it pranayama. We restore our souls. So I just want to break that down to you, and you can further research it. You can check my blogs out. Go to the Rastafari Mystery School, and it is expressly, not especially, but expressly designed for the Rastafari elders. When I first began teaching over 36 years ago, my teaching was for the elders, but I realized that, you know, that was like it wasn't happening like that. So now I see the elders, they are just fundamentalists. They think, some of them think what I am saying is totally absurd, but this is the way of the Rastafari. You are now in tune on the one, the force itself. At this time, we call it the Holy Master Blaster Jamming, and check into that, what we mean by the Master Blaster Jamming, because it is very vital to the movement. Yes, I We wish to reveal to you the essence of our energy, the foundation of the Rastafari vibration. So we introduce you to the Quran. A lot of Rastas only deal with the Bible, but the Quran lets you know that this lineage of Haile Selassie is the Anunnaki. David Solomon, in essence, Solomon was Enki, son of Anu. When we read Quran, we hear the voice of Solomon. We hear the wisdom of Solomon. We go to the steepness of this wisdom, the steepness. We look at the steepness. We will find the code in the Great Pyramid. We're talking about the pineal gland. The Great Pyramid is symbolic of that, symbolic of man, the flame of life. Each side of the Great Pyramid rises at an angle of 51.5 degrees to the top. Not only that, each of the sides are lined almost exactly with true north, south, east, and west. This is chapter or surah 51, Holy Quran. Now, we go back to the time when the pyramids were finished. The Anunnaki gathered on the plain and had a conference. And they said, they looked into the future, and they said, for the future times, to let man know who built these great monuments, who scattered these great monuments throughout the boundless universe and the earth. They said, we will put the face of Enki, Solomon, in essence, on the face of the Sphinx, that we know who built this. This is Anunnaki. And the lateral base, each side of the Great Pyramid, rises at an angle of 51 degrees. So we go to the book that we use for deciphering and speaking directly to Anunnaki, the Holy Quran. We turn to Surah 51. It is called the Scatterers, because these scatterers, Anunnaki, are the ones who scattered these monuments, who built the pyramids, and they told us this in the 10th tablet of the Sumerian text, is where they said they were going to put the face of Enki that we know. So we go to Surah 51. That's why it's called the Scatterers, because they scattered these monuments. And we go to verse 24, and 24 in Quran is the light, and it says, has the story of Abraham's honored guest reached thee? When they came to him, they said, peace, 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 in exclamation sounding, and Abraham was afraid, and he said, strangers! So these are the ones who came to Abraham and told him of his future, that his wife, who was barren and old, would have a baby. So in our ciphering, we note the number 51. If we reverse that number, we'll get the number 15. So if we go to travel left again, and we go to Surah 15, Holy Quran, we will find a surah called the Rock, and rock, pyramid, stone, it's synonymous. So Surah 15 is 51 reversed. So if we go to verse 51 in chapter 15, this is what we will find. Verse 51, chapter 15 reads, and inform them of the guest of Abraham. Now note, in Surah 51, verse 24, we read, have the story of Abraham's honored guest reached thee? And then we go to 15, the rock, and we go to verse 51, and we hear of Abraham again, and inform them of the guest of Abraham. When they entered upon him, they said, peace. He said, we are afraid of you. And in 24 over there in 51, it just said, they said, Abraham just said, strangers. So this reveals that he was afraid of Anunnaki, because they were bright, shining lights. You know, they were vegetarians, they were breatharians, and they were totally enlightened beings, the creators of the pyramids, the ones who did the first genetic experiments, who created the Aduma, the atom. So, in this discourse, we want you also to know that medicine and meditation, M-E-D-I, has the same root word. So, meditation was the first medicine. So when we need to restore our soul along with the herbs and the sunlight and the fresh air, we should use meditation instead of the pharmaceutical medicine. You are now in tune on the one, the force itself. At this time, we call the Holy Master Blaster Jamming. I am your brother, the Rastafari, Ital, Iman, I, Vital. Yes, I am.